as we reach out to connect, let's build a for every woman and man, take them by the hand, and let's build a better world. Do unto each other, it's the wise and golden rule. You're my sister, you're my brother, and life is one big school. You ready to sing this with me, with your big voices, boys and girls? Let's build a better world for every boy and girl, every woman and man, take them by the hand, and let's build a better world. Let's build a better world for every boy and girl, every woman and man, take them by the hand. Let's build a better world. Let's build a better world. How about this? We are building a better world. Sing that. We are building a better world. We are building a better world. Let's build a better world. Thank you, music lovers. Okay, here comes Marianne Bowie. Yay!
Give me a hug.
Oh, you need a hug.
Okay. All right, we got this, guys. Okay, we got this. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's wonderful to see you. I just thought I'd tell you what started me off this week. I had, I had a lot of stuff happen. My computer went under, but it wasn't hacked. It was hung up with the download of Windows. My car air conditioning started blowing hot air. So it's at the night drop at the Buick dealer. So I'm going to leave right after lunch to go to my aunt's memorial service. She passed away. But I am going to pick up my car, so that's a good thing. We have had a wonderful, wonderful time getting you all here. There's only one important message, really important from my heart, that I want to give every single one of you. On your website, please put a telephone number, an email address, and a physical address, because it was not easy to find you 100 environmental leaders. So how many people physically got an invitation in the mail? You know, like in the mail? I thought if it came in the mail, people would open it. If you were at a nonprofit, you would understand that it might have a check in it, right? I was really trying. Everybody said, oh, no, we'll just do Eventbrite. We'll just do Eventbrite and drive everybody crazy, and we'll put it on one of those systems where you keep getting email, keep getting email, keep getting... I didn't think that would bring you in. I wanted to, no kidding, celebrate you today. I wanted to let you know that you are important. Some of you have been in this business for more than 50 years. EcoSwift started way back when I was working for Charlotte County. When I was working for Charlotte County, I was meeting with the League of Women Voters, who's here today. It was a different segment, but I was meeting with the League of Women Voters and explaining to them what density was about on barrier islands, on bridgeless barrier islands, explaining those concepts. And it wasn't till 1991 that I really understood what sustainability was, when I went to the World's Women Conference for a Healthy Planet. And that was where I saw world leaders talking about what was possible at Rio. And all of the environmental stuff, all of the big Earth Charter stuff, that was really brought to me by people like Sharon Joy Cleach, who's in the room. Sharon has been doing this since that time. She worked with Barbara Marx Hubbard. Now she works with amazing people, amazing people. And we have Linda Sechrist in the room. Where's Linda Hayden? Linda is with Natural Awakenings. I worked with Natural Awakenings for many years when I had Sarasota Green Marketplace and we were growing the green economy. Linda is actually the writer that you see in Natural Awakenings all over the country. Her information, her copy goes to many, many thousands of readers. So that's why I'm saying every one of your organizations is important, but every one of your organizations needs a phone number, needs an email, and needs a physical mailing address. All right, so I think with no further ado, I'm going to present the planning team. And if each member of the planning team would come up here, I would appreciate it. Come on, that would be you all. Do you remember? You were on the planning team. Yes, you were. You really were. Yes, you were. You were too. You too. All right. So I'm going to introduce each person on the planning team, and then I'm going to ask them a question. And when I ask them that question, they will share. Come on up, Sharon Howard. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room. The first person I'm going to introduce is Jane. So Jane can stand up. Come on up. Jane Best Grand Boucher is a transformational educator who led courses and programs for landmark education worldwide for 25 years. Her passions include the environment and transformation, and she has been a student of yoga and meditation for the past 45 years. After she moved to Florida, she managed a native plant nursery for 5 years and grew thousands of plants. Along with her husband, Brad, they have a wholesale book business and consulting practice and reside on 10 beautiful acres in Sarasota County in Old Myakka, Florida. She has 2 daughters and 3 granddaughters. And together, she and I formed Generating Earth Connection, and we're one of the sponsors of this event this morning, along with WSLR and the Green Team of Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota. So my question is, what do you want people to know about you? It's on. Okay.
Well, I love community. I love the environment. I love transformational work. That's really what I want. If I was to say anything, I love my family. I'm so proud of my girls, my granddaughters.
You've got the lavalier on.
Oh, got the lavalier on. Sorry. I'm talking both ways, right? And I am really proud of the work I did with Landmark because of it impacting not only community and organizations, but family and individuals. So I could talk for hours, so I won't say any more, but those are my passions: meditation, yoga, environment, transformation, and family. Thank you, Marianne, and thank you. And this was a dream of Marianne's and mine from the moment that we started generating Earth Connections. We really wanted to join everyone in the community that had impacted the environment in the way that you all have, because you're on the leading edge of that. You're ensuring a future for future generations. So thank you.
All right. So Mary Lou Keller serves as Vice President of the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota, is active on the Sunday Services Committee, and I'm so happy that she's decided to also be on our Green Team. She and her husband have a healthcare research consulting business, and they market the Pulmonica, which is a pulmonary harmonica for non-musicians that they co-invented, which helps people breathe better. She attended Tufts University and the University of Delaware, and she earned a master's degree in microbiology, fueled by her love of nature. Her career highlights include training over 5,000 emergency workers on infectious disease prevention, being a wedding DJ, writing 7 novels, and some of them are a little steamy. They're all steamy, she says, and obtaining 2 patents. So she really hasn't done a lot, right? And today, because she has all these capabilities, she's overseeing our lunch. And that's good. We're going to have a very good, healthy lunch, vegetarian. So my question for her, what are you passionate about?
Well, I'm passionate about this congregation, and I'm passionate about my friends, and Mary Ann brought me into this fold. I think I'm good.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I'm passionate. When Mary Ann told me she wanted to do this project, I said, well, I will join you in that endeavor. So I'm here for Mary Ann. And for all of you, thank you so much for coming.
All right, now next is Fairy Elaine Silver. Fairy Elaine Silver is someone I have known for quite a while in Sarasota. She lives in my neighborhood. Come on in, Kip. Come on in, Rip. Come on in. I was just about to talk about you, Rip. She lives in Arlington Park, where Rip lives, who is actually on our food committee. So we have 2 volunteers from Arlington Park on our food committee. And James Alexander, Fairy Elaine's husband. Well, Fairy Elaine herself is an award-winning performer, singer-songwriter, touring and recording artist with 22 CDs to her credit. Now, in her spare time, she teaches spiritual principles and universal law through music, and she has an infectious way of getting her audiences to sing along. And this helps to foster and create feelings of oneness. So I actually met Fairy Elaine during my time with Sarasota Green Marketplace, and that was one of the things you could buy in our store. It went down in 2008. It was not a good year for the economy, remember? Yeah. But we had CDs of Fairy Elaine's. We also had products from 180 vendors in that store, if you can imagine. But anyway, more about me, more about enough. Enough about me. All about me. It's all about me. It's all about you.
You want me to tell you what I love about you?
Oh, go ahead, sure.
Everything. Do you have a question for me?
I do. Tell us about an unforgettable memory.
Really?
Really, a good
I
memory.
thought you were going to ask me to tell you what I'm passionate about.
All right,
But
tell me what you're
that's
passionate
better because
about. Tell me what you're
unforgettable
passionate about.
memory is not too happy. So, and I'm into joy. Like, joy is my job. Joy of being, J-O-Y. And I also know that I'm here as an uplifter. And not only that, but to uplift and inspire. And I do it with music and teaching these. I love the truth principles. I love universal law. And I'm also a licensed science of mind practitioner, so I have a license to pray. So if you need prayers, I can do that for you. It's true. It took 4 years. Actually, it took 25 years to get that license once I started the work, but I'm very fulfilled by that. And my main purpose, the joy part and the uplifting, is to really raise the energy of the planet, to raise the energy of one person at a time, one song at a time, one concert, one event at a time. Big audience, small audience, that's fine, as long as I'm doing my work and helping to raise the vibratory rate of the planet.
Thank you. Now we have someone you all have known, and if you haven't known her, you have certainly listened to her radio show or gone. Come here, Arlene. Arlene Sweeting is the co-founder and current general manager of WSLR 96.5 Community Radio and the Fogartyville Community Media and Arts Center. She also publishes a quarterly newspaper, the Critical Times, and then in her spare time, she runs a nonprofit called Peace, Justice, and Action Center. She incubates small, brand new nonprofits in that. That's one of the things she does. She served 2 years as the state conservation chair for the Florida Sierra Club also. So, Arlene, what would you like to share about yourself? And I absolutely, I want to say, I absolutely am so impressed with your work. And I've been so impressed for 30 years.
So, what I want to say is, I believe in the power of the people to make positive social change. In the progressive movement, we have a saying, when we organize, we win. And right now, we have a lack of organizing, I think, in our region and around the country. We need to do more organizing. And one of my roles today is to kind of plant seeds for you to think about throughout the afternoon and to talk about in our lunch conversations. So my first seed is one way we can collaborate is some of our groups can combine resources and we can hire a paid organizer because we are coming into a really important year in 2024. We need to amplify the voices of our environmental community. We need to make sure we know where these candidates running for election in 2024 stand on environmental issues. So let's talk about that. One of the groups I've organized in the past with locally is Move to Amend. And when Diane Desenberg, my fellow organizer with that group, found out about this event, she said, we need to raise the issue of corporate personhood with this group. And I said, I agree. So she put together a handout for you, and I want you to make sure you pick that up and learn how corporate personhood stymies our collective environmental efforts. And if you're not familiar with Move to Amend, that's the group that's working for the constitutional amendment to say corporations are not people and therefore do not deserve the rights of persons under our Constitution, and money is not a form of political speech. So we can regulate campaign finance. Those are two big things that we need to address. There's a timeline out there that I think some of you might find interesting on how corporations gained personhood, all the Supreme Court cases and battles that took place. So check out that timeline that's out there, and I'm very excited about talking with all of you today about how we build community power.
And so you see why Arlene, let's have another round for Arlene, why she is effective and why we all need her. Now, near and dear to my heart is Sharon Howard. Sharon Howard is currently the chair of the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota Social Justice Committee. She is a mother, a teacher, and always an amazing kind of powerful voice aimed at making a difference. She was raised in Jacksonville, Florida, and then lived for 25 years in Delaware, where she went to UU, where she was a Unitarian Universalist for 10 years. Sharon moved to Sarasota with her husband in 2016. When she retired to Florida, she started volunteering for several organizations where she could help people and where she could take action to promote justice. She is committed to Mothers Helping Mothers Weekly, the Rocking Readers program at Booker Elementary, where she reads to children. Children can't be read in a rocking chair anymore. You have to read in a different chair than the child. The Women's Interfaith Network, the Racial Justice Coalition, Family Promise, SURE, and Coming to the Table, which was established by slaveholders and slaves, former slaves, and it seeks to begin those discussions, those very difficult discussions. She recently was honored for her work as an amazing woman of 2023 by the Suncoast Woman of Action. So for you, what was the most meaningful work that you accomplished?
Well, when I was an early childhood educator, one of my students who was 3. Most of my students were ranged from 3 to 5. A 3-year-old came up to me and he said, "I'm hungry. I didn't have breakfast." And that really touched me. And I said, "Well, I have some snacks in my closet." And so I shared that with him. And so he was quite happy. But I wanted to do more. And so I spoke with the cafeteria manager, and I said, "Why is it that our students aren't allowed to participate in the before school program that you have?" And she said, "The program is only for K through 5th grade. It is not for preschoolers." And I said, "Well, I had a student that was hungry, and I would imagine that there are probably others in my class, but this student just happened to tell me." And so I would like to be able to make sure that all the students have something to eat prior to school starting. And so I asked her, I said, "How much would it cost if I purchased milk for each of the students?" And she said, "We always have extra milk. I will give you enough for your class." And she did. I asked parents in my classroom if they would donate some snacks, and I did as well. So I was able to make sure that each of my students every day had breakfast. When they entered the classroom, breakfast was set up for them. Not everyone took advantage of it, but most did. And I felt very good that I was able to make sure that my students had the nutrition that they needed, especially since they were so young. And all of those little wiggly people in my classroom, they wouldn't have been able to concentrate and focus. And so I was more than happy to do that. It helped them as well as me.
Thank you so much. Oh, wait, Dick Stamer. Okay, Dick. All right, in the perfect world, we got yours here too. 3 or 4 times. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Dick Stammer, stand please, okay, has been a UUS member since 2012. He is active within the Social Justice Committee, the Green Team, Rainbow Alliance Committee, formerly called Interweave, the Men's Group Number 4, and the Multimedia Committee. Professionally, he retired from public child welfare after 36 years of service in Maryland and Florida. He has a master's in public administration. He is fortunate to be married to fellow UUS member Dr. Jody McBrien, who is a USF professor and widely known researcher in international refugee resettlement policy. So my question for you, what memory of your work are you most proud of?
Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Thank you. When I first heard the question, I thought pride goeth before the fall, but I haven't fallen yet, so I'm happy about that. And I'm so happy and proud to see you and proud to be part of this terrific team. They have really put together a great program that I was just a very tiny part of. Briefly, as Marianne mentioned, I'm retired from child welfare in Maryland and Florida. And it was at the age of 39 when I finally discovered the importance of social activism on a group level. I was working with 400 gubernatorially peers with the state of Maryland, whose main goal was to achieve permanence for children who had been removed from their families due to abuse or neglect, or sexual abuse or physical abuse. And we wanted to stop foster care drift, where children stay in foster care and never get out. We had a very important piece of legislation pending before Maryland's General Assembly. We really wanted to get this through. It was a landmark piece of legislation for Maryland. We had one senator who was refusing to vote yes on it. So I gathered together the 4 or 5 of his constituents, and we met and talked. I got them a meeting with the senator, and I turned them loose on him. And an hour later, he agreed to support the legislation. It passed. I got to be part of 3 people who had their picture taken with Governor signing of the bill. Yes, I was very proud about that. But what, on the long term, the real lesson for me was the power of group activism. We all have to swim together, or we will all drown together. And I prefer to swim with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to introduce Marianne. Marianne Bruce Bowie has been in Sarasota since 1959 and a sustainability advocate since 1991. She was president of the Sarasota Unitarian Universalist congregation in the 1990s, and her children were raised in the religious education program here. Her husband of 40 years is buried in our memorial garden. As urban planner and a fellow of the American Institute of Certified Planners, she took on growing the green locally as a pro bono effort for 7 years. She now is the Green Team lead here at University of Sarasota.
Okay, then you want to ask me a question?
Yes, I have a question for you. What is your proudest accomplishment as a sustainability advocate?
So one of the accomplishments that I'm most proud of is that I was the subject matter expert when they developed the curriculum at St. Petersburg College when they first started having sustainability management programs. And now they have both AA and BAS degrees. So that's exciting. Now, because all those people I'm influencing, and I don't even know them, you know? That's pretty neat. Anyway, Sharon, as the Unitarian Universalist Social Justice Chair, I would like to have you speak now and give us a few words about our history in social. I know.
Can I stay seated, or do you want me to?
Sure, go ahead. Back to the kitchen.
Unitarian Universalists have a long history of being advocates for social justice in the United States and globally. Being green is social justice. Climate restoration is social justice. Building a better world is social justice. Land acknowledgement and reparations is social justice. Our event team today is made up of several members of Unitarian Universalists. Even among so few people, you have already heard about a wide variety of involvement in social justice. The UU Social Justice Committee is an umbrella for all of our programs that promote helping people and society. These are the programs that take actions necessary to promote justice. Within our walls, we have the Racial Justice Coordinating Team, the Reproductive Action Team, the Rainbow Alliance, and our social justice table has their own version of the little free library of banned books. We have formed alliances with a variety of organizations, including churches, government agencies, and nonprofits. One of the longest-term alliances has been with the Sarasota Housing Authority. Within that alliance, we provide last resort funds for families at risk of losing their housing. We also partner with the Sarasota Food Bank to ensure that school-aged children have backpacks of snacks over the weekend. We are members of the newly formed group at UCAW, Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Venice. Their Social Justice Alliance of Florida Suncoast includes the Suncoast Metropolitan Church, the UU Fellowship of Charlotte, the Venice Interfaith Community Association, Venice Pride, and the Venice United Church of Christ. I'm sure I've left out some, but those are the ones. Those are some of the ones that are included in the organization. Their mission statement would work for all of us. At the Social Justice Alliance of Florida Suncoast, they're dedicated to fostering a more equitable and inclusive society. Our mission is to recognize and address systemic barriers, promote fairness, and empower marginalized communities to thrive. They have attended school board meetings to help make sure that hate is countered, and they are preparing a Right to Read festival in February. It's truly wonderful to show up at a volunteer event and look across the room and exchange smiles with other UUs. The work is meaningful, and we've put our hearts into it. We invite you to get to know our Social Justice Committee and see what a difference 75 people on the Social Justice Committee can make.
Okay, thank you very much. So at this time, we're going to skip the icebreaker. All right, so we're either going to skip the icebreaker or not. Let's hear from the team. Okay.
So if everybody gets a partner, and just say what it is that you want people to know about you and what you're proud of.
Yeah, so we did have 3 questions. Originally, we were going to ask, what are you passionate about? We were going to break into groups of 5, and in each group, we wanted to have different organizations. But these 3 questions, which are somewhere up here, Terry, Ann, could I have the slide of the 3 questions? What are you passionate about? And if your organization had unlimited money and power and people, what would your organization achieve? And then, of course, what was really going to be fun was creating an out-of-the-box project for the people in the icebreaker where everybody's organization had part of something. Anyway, we can do it at lunch. Yeah, there we can. Okay, so we'll have Ferry Elaine now. Yeah, we're going to go live on Facebook, on YouTube, I'm sorry. We're going to go live on YouTube, and we're going to be singing a song. Uh-huh.
Well, they already know your part.
Yeah, you know your part for Build a Better World. And one of the things that's exciting is we will actually be meshing with the Humanity Day celebration, which is going on, which is a global event. And we're going to actually live feed into that, or live stream, or however it works, it's going to happen. And it's really wonderful. And therefore, I am finished, and I turn it over to Jane.
And I get it. Oh.
What do you want?
That over to me, 'cause Arlene.
She's got to sing one song.
Gotta sing the song.
Mhm.
We're gonna do it again. This is what I was hired to do. For free. You know, Marianne is one of the best people on the planet. I have told so many people that, and she's my neighbor. And many times I go over to her house and I go, "What are we doing now? What are we doing now? Because she always had really cool things to do. And you know, even though I'm a leader, I'm in a leadership role, I'm her sidekick. So are we ready? Let's build a better world for every boy and girl, every woman and man. Take them by the hand and let's build a better world. Let's try it again. Let's build a better world for every boy and girl, every woman and man. Take them by the hand and let's build a better world. We are one big family and we are the human race on a big and beautiful planet spinning through outer space. Let's build a better world for every boy and girl, every woman and man. Take them by the hand and let's build a better world. Everyone has value and we all need love and respect. It helps to build a better world as we reach out to connect. Let's build a better world for every boy and girl, every woman and man. Take them by the hand and let's build a better world. Do unto each other, it's the wise and golden rule. You're my sister, you're my brother, and life is one big school. Let's build a better world for every boy and girl, every woman and man. Take them by the hand and let's build a better world. Let's build a better world for every boy and girl, every woman and man. Take them by the hand and let's build a better world. Let's build a better world. We are building a better world. We are building a better. Let me hear you. We are building. How about this one? I am humanity. I am humanity. I am you. Let me hear you. Come on. Couple more. One more big one. I am humanity. We are building a better world.
Fun fact, planet Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Mankind, about 140,000 years old. Let me put that in perspective. If you condense the Earth's lifespan into 24 hours, that's one full day, then we have been here on this planet for, drum roll please, 3 seconds. 3 seconds. And look what we've done. We have modestly named ourselves Homo sapiens, meaning wise man. But is man really so wise? Smart, yes, and it's good to be smart, but not too smart for your own good. Yes, we have split the atom. Yes, we build clever machines that navigate the universe in search of new homes, but at the same time, those atoms we split created nuclear warfare. In our quest to explore the galaxy, rejects and neglects the home that we have here now, so no, that cannot be wisdom. Wisdom is different. While intelligence speaks, wisdom listens, and we willingly covered our ears to Mother Nature's screams and closed our eyes to all of her help-wanted signs. Wisdom knows that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, so if we were wise, we would not be shocked when we see storms that are stronger than ever before, or more drought, hurricanes, and wildfire than ever before, because there's more pollution than ever before, more carbon, more trees cut down than ever before. At a record pace, we have increased the extinction of animals by 1,000 times the normal rate. What a feat. In the next 10 to 100 years, every beloved animal character in every children's book is predicted to go extinct. Lions gone, rhinos gone, tiger, gorilla, elephant, polar bear gone. In 3 seconds. Species that have been here longer than us will be gone because of us. In this 3 seconds. In an existence shorter than a Vine video, we turn the circle of life into our own personal conveyor belt. Somebody, anybody help. We were given so much, the only planet in this solar system with life. I mean, we are 1 in a million. No, actually, scientifically, we are 1 in a billion, trillion. That's a 1 followed by 33 zeros. And I don't want to get too spiritual, but how are we not a miracle? We are perfectly positioned to the sun so we don't burn, but not too distant so we don't turn to ice. Goldilocks said it best, we are just right. This paradise where we are given medicine from trees, not coincidentally, but because like the song says, we are family. Literally, everything, every species is connected genetically, from the sunflower to the sunfish. And this is what we must recognize before it's too late, because the real crisis is not global warming, environmental destruction, or animal agriculture. It is us. These problems are symptoms of us, byproducts of us. Our inner reflection, loss of connection has created this misdirection. We have forgotten that everything contributes to the perfection of Mother Nature. Corporations keep us unaware and disconnected, but they have underestimated our strength. Contrary to popular belief, millions are waking up out of their sleep, seeing our home being taken right up under our feet. We cannot allow our history to be written by the wicked, greedy, and loony. It is our duty to protect Mother Nature from those who refuse to see her beauty. Call me crazy, but I believe we should have the right to eat food that's safe, with ingredients we can pronounce. Drink water that is clean, marvel at trees, breathe air free of toxins. These are natural rights, not things that can be bargained for in Congress. See, they want you to feel powerless, but it has been said that something as small as the flutter of a butterfly's wing can cause a typhoon halfway around the world. But when enough people come together, we too will make waves and wash the world into a new era filled with love and connection, freedom for all without oppression. But it is up to you, yes, you watching this behind this screen, to make the effort, because time is of the essence, and only together can we make it to the 4th second.
Hey, I want you to give a hand for our tech team because they're working really hard back there. They got a lot thrown at them, and there are going to be some mistakes, but we appreciate you guys. One of those things I want you to think about is how we can use art, music, poetry to reach a different audience, right? Such a powerful images we have in the environmental movement. So how can we use them more effectively? You know, the totality of what we're facing can be overwhelming. So I'm going to go back to the old adage, think globally, act locally. And I'm going to start with a global picture and throw some things out there at you, and then bring us back to the local level and conversations we're inviting you to have with each other during and after lunch today. And I hope to get some creative juices flowing that will help inform our conversation and possibly stimulate ideas for collaboration. In 2015, 193 countries in the United Nations adopted the Sustainable Development Goals and embarked on a journey to achieve results by 2030. The Sustainable Development Goals are a call for action by all countries, poor, rich, and middle income, to promote prosperity while protecting the planet. In 2020, they released this video to raise awareness of the goals, and it's just a short video we're going to share next, if that works. September to commit to action, but obviously we know we're far behind where we need to be. You see the 17 goals displayed on the screen behind me here. The goals recognize that ending poverty must go hand in hand with strategies that address a range of social needs, including education, health, social protection, and job opportunities, while also tackling climate change and environmental protection. I think you can see the impact that having a diverse group of people at the table has on the outcome. I encourage all of us in this room to make our environmental organizations more inclusive. Another global initiative coming up is Earth Day. Celebrated annually on April 22nd, the 2024 theme is Planet versus Plastics. The organization is calling for a 60% reduction in the production of plastics by 2040 with the ultimate goal of building a plastic-free future. So here locally, we know that Oscar Scherer has its annual Earth Day celebration. How can we support that effort? Is there interest in working together on another consciousness-raising event that does not conflict with that event? That's a topic we can talk about after lunch as well. So, coming back to the United States, I wanted to share some research with you. I attended a Florida Humanities Council virtual event with Robert Putnam and Shaylin Romney Garrett at the beginning of the month entitled Join or Die. You may remember Putnam as the author of the book Bowling Alone, which showed how we have become increasingly disconnected from family, friends, neighbors, and from our democratic structures. That book was published in 2000. It was published in 2000. Join or Die is the new documentary that shares some of his continuing research. And what does his research show? It shows that over the last quarter century, we signed fewer petitions, belonged to fewer organizations that actually get together and meet in person. We knew our neighbors less. We met with friends less frequently and even socialized with our families less often. Indeed, we even started bowling alone. That's the title of the book. So more people were bowling, but they were no longer bowling in leagues. So 20 years later, Putnam's most recent book, The Upswing, How America Came Together a Century Ago and How We Can Do It Again, was published. And it begins with a chapter called What's Past is Prologue. His thesis is that America's Gilded Age, the 1870s through the 1890s, shows a remarkable similarity to our own, including a yawning gap between rich and poor and a societal focus on I rather than we. And the hill-shaped curve on the book, it's what he calls the I-we-I curve. It reflects the trends from the Gilded Age to the present. The height of the curve occurs in the mid-20th century and represents the lowest gap between rich and poor, the most favorable health indicators, the highest social spending to help the poor, the lowest political polarization, and the apex of America's sense of moving forward together, as opposed to the toxic fractionalization we have today. Next slide. The social scientists were somewhat surprised by the consistency of the data across 7 separate measures of social capital, including political participation, civic participation, religious participation, workplace networks, informal networks, mutual trust, and altruism. All are on the decline. It's not all doom and gloom, though. Putnam feels if we've righted the ship before, we can do it again. So the new documentary, Join or Die, and The Upswing, both explore 3 questions. What makes democracy work? Why is our democracy in crisis? And most importantly, what can we do about it? Putnam sees social capital as the glue that makes a society and democracy work. And he has several suggestions for how we can improve our social capital. And I'm just going to share a few of them without any commentary. First, he suggests educational reforms be undertaken, including improved civics education, well-designed service learning programs, extracurricular activities, and smaller schools. He argues for a more family-oriented workplace, which allows for the formation of social capital on the job. He encourages further efforts at new urbanism. He would like to see religion become both more influential and at the same time more tolerant. Technologies that reinforce rather than replace face-to-face interaction should be encouraged. Art and culture should become more interactive. And finally, politics requires campaign reforms and a decentralization of power. So why am I talking about this to a group of environmental leaders? Because the decline in community and civic engagement affects us all, and it affects our democracy. And what Putnam's research shows is that policy follows culture, not the reverse. So how can we use this information in making our organizations more effective and actually help to rebuild the fabric of our communities, to get back to that culture of we? So, just some ideas out there for you to think about as we continue the conversation today. We'll have our panel discussion next, but following, we'll have lunch, and there'll be some questions on your tables for you to talk about. And then we're going to have informal discussions around the topics that you see listed here. And we hope that you will be able to stay with us and participate in those conversations. But if you have to leave, but you have some ideas that you want to share with us, we do have some chart paper posted out there where you'll be eating lunch. And we have some Post-it notes. And you can just grab a pen and write on the chart paper if you want. Any ideas that you've generated for collaboration, for better communication today, we hope that you'll share them on those pieces of paper with us, and we then will share them with all of you after the event. And finally, before I turn the mic over, I just want to give a little shout out for WSLR here. WSLR has been broadcasting in the community for 18 years. It is one of the forms. It is one of the forms of community power that we have, folks. But it is only powerful if we use it. So please use it. Listen, don't download the mobile app. We have so many incredible people that just spend so much time and effort putting incredible shows together for you. Two of them are in the room with us today, John O'Miller and Julie Morris, who are new to WSLR, relatively new, with the show Our Changing Environment, just sharing their incredible wealth of experience and knowledge with our listeners. So check that out. Our newspaper, which is published quarterly, is community sourced. If you have something going on, please write an article and send it to me. We're always looking for things to publish. Our news department is growing. So support this community resource, and we want to support you. Two more things I want to share before Marianne bumps me off the stage. Next slide. We are media sponsors of these two fabulous events coming up, the Eco Summit and the Green Living Expo. A lot of energy going into putting these events on for our community, and they have lots of space. We want to get as many people out as possible to experience and participate in this. So do your part and share the word with your membership. And then next, coming back to that very important issue of saving democracy, our good friends at the Florida Veterans for Common Sense and Choose Democracy, and the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota, who are awesome, are hosting this event, which I encourage you also to really consider attending and having some more conversation. Professor Ruth Ben-Gott, one of the foremost authorities on authoritarianism, will be here with us. And they will be holding a democracy expo prior to that you can also participate in. Solidarity is important, folks. We need to support each other. So thank you for being here today. That's part of what it takes.
Okay, so what we're going to do now, because we expect you all to be very brilliant and able to change hats, we're going to invite you, if you feel comfortable, to place your hand over your heart. I'm going to do a land acknowledgement. Close your eyes and take a moment to center yourself in this land acknowledgement. To be in right relationship with all that is, we hereby acknowledge the indigenous peoples whose land we now occupy and use as our own. The Calusa, Tocobaga, Timucun, and Seminole peoples lived in villages here before we were here, before anything that we can even remember was in place. They were effective stewards of the land, and they were often buried in shell middens. Tribes came here to avoid hurricanes and to fish in our bays and ocean water. Those bays belonged to them. Or maybe they belong to no one, or maybe they belong to all of us. With gratitude, we acknowledge the original inhabitants of the land and the soil and the ocean that provided them sustenance. We honor the indigenous peoples. We desire to be better stewards of this land. For welfare of future generations, we will take active steps to learn from the indigenous peoples in our area who are still with us, especially the Miccosukee and the Seminole tribes. Let us correct the mistakes made in the past and heal and honor our relationships with the people who were here before the Europeans came and colonized these lands. Let us commit personally to take whatever steps are necessary toward reparation. Thank you. Now I'm going to read something that is near and dear to my heart. It's a reading by Starhawk from Dreaming the Dark, as quoted in Calling the Circle. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak with passion without having the words catch in our throat. Somewhere, a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up as we enter. Voices will celebrate with us. whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing. A circle of friends. Someplace where we can be free. Jane, you want to come up?
With Mary Ann. Really, that was great. Can you get me some water? Would you get someone to get me some water, please? Okay, and just to, Klaus, are we about ready to go on Zoom? We're going to do Zoom whenever they're ready, and I want to have the panel come up here. So would Christine Johnson please come up? Would Charles Reith, Jasmine Graham, Abby Turner, and Tracy Troxler. And just, if you would sit here, and we can kind of position ourselves as we go to Humanity Day. Yay. Okay, thank you. So can we hear Peter? Is Peter? I'm going to introduce you when we have Peter here. Who else? Where's Tracy? Oh, Tracy's there. Who else is missing? Charles? Where's Charles? Oh, here he is. Come on, Charles. Why? How could I not miss you, huh? Oh, good. I wouldn't say that. Peter likes everyone. So can we, is there, Klaus, can you tell me?
We're going to have to move Peter on and Sarasota. Roger.
And then, so we have a special guest here today. Can we just have Peter come on?
There you go, Peter.
To tell him we're ready. And this is, by the way, this is globally. We're going around the world, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do this today. We feel like that humanity, you know, we're all humanity, we're all interconnected, and it's an idea whose time has come for the world to really get our interconnectedness and who we are. Like, I am humanity. Are you humanity? Absolutely. I am humanity. Correct? Okay, so I think he's going to come on now. Can we buzz him in there, Klaus?
And now we're going to go live to Sarasota, Florida.
Hey, we're on the cutting edge here. We're the first group to do this.
More progress right now.
Peter, can you hear me?
Move Sarasota?
Yeah?
Yeah, I just did.
Okay, great. Hi, Peter. Peter, can you hear me?
I can hear you, and you didn't hear me because I was on mute. I apologize.
I can hear you. If you can turn it up a little bit, if the sound people can turn it up a little bit. All right, so we're just going to start. Welcome, Peter. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really, truly moved that you've accepted our invitation to be here with us in Sarasota, and especially on Humanity Day. We invited you here today really because of the huge difference you've made in your commitment to the climate. And I've seen from your sharing over the years, from the work that I've participated with you in, that in reading your book, Climate Restoration, that we can restore the blessed to live in. And despite the fact that I've been really working all of my adult life in various environmental endeavors, I'll have to tell you the truth is that what was kind of lingering in the background was doom and gloom. Did anybody else have doom and gloom here besides myself? But since reading your book, that has shifted for me. And I know now that we can restore the planet. We can restore the climate. And this group of people that are gathered here today in Sarasota are on the front lines of ensuring for our children, for our grandchildren, and for future generations a planet that is flourishing. So Peter, just so you know, is an MIT physicist, an engineer, author, and innovator, and he has 27 patents. So he's somebody who's committed to solutions. He works for NASA for many years. So my question for you, Peter, is what is it that you're committed to in your work that you're doing now in relation to restoring the climate?
Well, thank you for inviting me to Sarasota. I've never been there before, and if I have to go there by video, I suppose that's probably good for the climate as well. My focus has expanded to not just the climate, but humanity flourishing. What I've discovered in the 10 years I've been working on this is that when we realize, it took me a while to ask, why am I doing this? Why are we doing this together? And really, ultimately, we know we succeed when we can walk into a village or into a school and see the kids playing and laughing. That's really the measure, ultimately. And that's going to require a healthy climate, of course, and it's going to require a healthy environment and a planet that's not so overcrowded that people are fighting wars, just they have a place to sleep. So that's what I'm working on. And there are many parts. I am so delighted that you and many others have worked to build up Humanity Day.
Well, and then, Peter, you created the concept of climate restoration. So I wanted you to speak to why you see having an annual Humanity Day is essential and it's really critical to restoring the climate.
Yeah, so as I had said earlier, that 10 years ago when I started, it was a struggle to get any traction for people to think about restoring the climate for more than 10 minutes. And I and a number of my colleagues realized it's because we did not have a context for that made restoring the climate important. And so Humanity Day is designed to remind us that we belong to our descendants. That's who we belong to. And it's not just, we certainly belong to our community and to our nation and to whatever groups we happen to be involved in. But in the end, we belong to our descendants. And with that in mind, it's very easy to make sure that we give them a healthy climate and a healthy environment. It really comes naturally. But the thing we've really seen in the last 5 years is that thinking that we belong to our descendants is sort of a new thought. It's not been required in the history of evolution before. But now that we can destroy our planet, hopefully not with World War, but we've been destroying it with the CO2 in the air and with the environmental destruction due to our 10 times the larger population that our planet has ever sustained. We can fix that. Really, when you think about it, those solutions come fairly easily. You talked about doom and gloom at the beginning. I think it's really important because I had to go through a lot of doom and gloom to get to the other side. And I don't recommend doom and gloom, and it's part of the pathway to regenerating and really creating a new future for humanity. So welcome it when it hits you is what I wanted to say. Don't think that there's something wrong if you're experiencing doom and gloom. That is a critical step on the path to restoring the climate.
Thanks, Peter. And so, Peter, I want to introduce you and the world to some of the greatest environmentalists that live in our area. And we have about 60 different groups represented here today. This is an acknowledgement and appreciation, really, we wanted to create for all the people that have done such profound work on the environment. And, you know, and for the people that are viewing with Humanity Day. So I want to start with Christine Johnson. And she's someone who's literally raised hundreds of millions of dollars for nonprofits, and she really, I mean, incredible. She's president of the Conservation Foundation, where she saves land forever, her and her team. And to date, they've saved close to 20,000 acres in the Suncoast. That is no small feat, okay? And then, really, and Charles Wright, he's here today. He started Suncoast Urban Reforesters and is planting thousands of trees in microforests all across the Suncoast, in neighborhoods and schools and parks. He's an ecologist with an experience in restoring ecological productivity to distressed lands and waters. We're so happy to have him in our community. And here's Jasmine Graham, and I love Jasmine Graham. She's a shark scientist and an environmental educator speaking in shark and ray ecology. She's president of MISS, which is Minorities in Shark Scientists. She deeply cares about protecting endangered and vulnerable marine species. And what I love about Jasmine, as in every person up here and every person here today, is they saw something that was missing and they created something that really has made a difference. So thank you, Jasmine. And this is Tracy Troxler. She's co-founder of Sunshine Community Compost that offers community composting education and programs all across Sarasota. She originally is from Florida, and she lived 17 years in California before coming back here to combine her skills of regenerative agriculture with her passion of healthy, thriving people and soil. Thank you, Tracy. And this is Abby Turner. Abby is the executive director of Suncoast Waterkeepers that ensures that our waterways are kept clean. We're so happy the waterkeepers are in our neighborhood, truly. She studied wetlands in college. She has a PhD in geography from Penn State. And she discovered that many, when she returned to Florida, had been plowed over or with development and roads, and they weren't the wetlands that she knew when she was growing up. And so she went to work for the Suncoast Waterkeepers. Thank you, Abby, for being here today. And really, while this is an example, Peter, of the people here in Sarasota that are on the front lines of ensuring a flourishing future for generations to come, I want the people here in Sarasota today to know that they are the first big event for Humanity Day worldwide. So let's acknowledge that. And I've been on the team for Humanity Day, which I am so passionate about. And I see that what I'm excited about is local organizations everywhere in the world will be participating in this next year. So Peter, my last question is, what do you see as possible globally for that happening?
Well, I think you've launched something very important, Jane, which is really getting the local groups involved. We have a group in Israel doing something very similar. They call themselves the Climate Restoration Network. And globally, everything we do makes a difference. And and it's working together. As I said in the clip a little earlier, if we're not having fun, it's probably because we're trying to do it alone. And so if you find yourself not having fun, get a group together and get involved and be willing to change direction. One of the biggest issues that we're dealing with in climate restoration right now is that the pathway was set 35 years ago to stop damaging the climate, to eliminate human interference in the climate system. And that made good sense 35 years ago. But the world has changed, and now we're working with the United Nations to shift their goal to restore a healthy climate. My point is, don't get fit, work together knowing that you'll learn, the environment will change, and you'll change directions with it. And it makes it much easier to get involved in a group if you're not having to judge, is this the right one or the wrong one? Just go play with the people and bring your life and your commitment to humanity flourishing. So that's what it's going to take to go global, is everyone just dive right in with organics and recycling and clean energy. All of those things make it, together, make all the difference.
And I would say that these people here today are people that are ensuring that future, Peter. So thank you for letting us join. Thank you for your huge contribution. Would you leave people with the possibility that you created with your wife so many years ago?
Yes. Well, and before I do that, I just want to thank your people on stage there and the other people who aren't on the stage. Thank you for your leadership. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of courage to stand for something that has never happened before. Everything all the things that you're doing, and the whole concept of restoring the climate for our whole planet, for all of humanity, that's a brand new thing, and it takes courage. And it's important for me and everyone to acknowledge and thank each other for making that happen.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So, yeah.
Oops. Well, his
really excited.
Okay. Thank you, Julia. We're going to sign off now. We'll join you later. Okay, we can turn off the Zoom now. Thank you. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Yay! We did it. You have no idea what that took to do that, okay? Honestly. And you can watch it if you want to watch Humanity Day today. If you register at imhumanity.net, you can watch it later on today. There's people, Lynn Twist, we have a rabbi and Iman that is just, I wish that conversation would be blasted all over the world. We have one of the leaders of Africa, India, I mean, it's all over. And we're excited. So anyway, thank you for indulging us and letting us be a part of that. So I want to get to this panel because they are really the reason we're here today, as are you. So I want to know, and really we have to be brief with this because I know we could talk all day on this subject, all right? And into next day, really weeks, right? So what difference do you see that you and your organization has made in our community? And do we have a microphone for them? Take this one. Here you go, Christine. Start with you, and we'll just go right down.
Is it on? Okay. Conservation Foundation is celebrating their 20th anniversary this year. And as you heard in the introduction, we've conserved almost 20,000 acres in those 20 years. So
it's right. It's really...
Our mission is to protect the land and water in Southwest Florida for the benefit of people and nature. And so what we've done for this community, and by community, we define that because our service area goes from South Tampa Bay, Manatee County, all the way down to the Everglades, and we're starting to save land in DeSoto and Hardee. So that's 7 counties. So when I say community, that's our service area. We've saved things like the 150 acres adjacent to Robinson Preserve, which is now part of Robinson Preserve.
I mean, really.
We did
Thank
Bobby
you.
Jones, we conserved Bobby Jones and worked with the city to reduce the number of golf holes and do restoration for wetlands, or the quad parcels where we're rewilding them in partnership with Sarasota Audubon. But we also save land that you can't get on. We save land out in the hinterlands, as well as the one small little piece of land, 1 acre on Siesta Key, where the snowy plovers nest, an endangered bird. So we do it all, but we are really focused, and we partner with many, and we'll get to that later. But I think for all of you to understand, that we have a little saying that we put on a sticker for you to put on your car, and all it says is, "I save land." That's what we do.
Yay.
Well, today I am a sartorial representation of collaboration. I'm wearing a Florida Veterans for Common Sense hat. They are the founding partner of Suncoast Urban Reforesters. I'm wearing a Sarasota Bay Rotary shirt. Well, this is actually Rotary International, but the Sarasota Bay Rotary Club, represented here by Tim and Holly, and Jean, who's also a Florida vet. They have been really, really valuable, and so has Solutions to Avoid Red Tide. So those organizations came together to help support what I think in 55 years of stumbling around is really the most focused, surgical, and robust approach to solving climate problems that we could ask for. I consider reforestation a big part of climate restoration, and I've written Peter to that extent.
Absolutely.
It's a permanent. If you do reforestation correctly, it is a permanent solution, and the coal that's a problem today is a tribute to the permanence of reforestation as a strategy. So we want it back in the crust, right? So it's a global solution, designing and installing these forests that are intended for permanence and protected by their community, but it is a local solution because it also fights what I call the inland trilogy of climate risk, which affects us all, and that is heat. Urban heating is getting so bad our communities are no longer even walkable. Inland flooding, tropical systems stall these days. They hang just like Ian did. So you need to replace turf and eventually pavement with forest systems that intercept that. And the third thing is wind. Wind is very damaging. What's wind doing to our insurance rates? So thanks to those three organizations, we are taking areas of land that are what I call mature suburban landscaping, which is designed by landscape architects who probably had sustainability as an elective. And we're saying, no, we're not going with that approach. We are restoring ecological services that are climate protective, both adaptation and mitigation, and it wouldn't be possible if it weren't for all the people that are coming together in the general partnership, but also all of you who have helped me find locations and help support. We've got 7 forests so far, 2 cooking, and by the end of next year, I hope to have 20 microforests in greater Sarasota.
Fantastic.
So we are the ocean representatives here. So we are really interested in conserving our oceans. So the majority of our planet is ocean. A lot of people in this community, although we are near the ocean, there are certain aspects, certain demographics of our community that don't have access. And so we are really sitting at the intersection of social justice and ocean conservation. Because if kids don't see the ocean as being for them, they're not invested in protecting it. And oftentimes we have communities that, especially communities of color and low-income communities, that are affected by these things like flooding and wind and the environmental racism that has placed them in a position to be in the most dangerous spots. But they don't have the advocacy, the information to voice their concerns and address these issues. So we use sharks as a charismatic way to connect with people. Everyone knows sharks, everyone knows Jaws and all of these things. And so we take that and we help people move from fear to fascination. So a lot of people don't go in the ocean because they're afraid of sharks. So you take that fear away and suddenly the ocean is open to them. And we also are minorities in shark sciences. So we specifically serve Black, Indigenous, and people of color. Because if you can see in the environmental space, there's not a lot of people that look like you. You might feel like you don't belong there. And so our goal is really for people, when they think of a scientist, to think of a Black woman with purple hair and not a white guy in a lab coat, because we all can be scientists. And so that for us has been a huge impact. Going into schools, I go into Palm View regularly, and I've now become the shark lady, which I take with big honor, because the original shark lady, Eugenie Clark, we actually have a program. We asked her children to name the program after her, Eugenie Clark Fellows. And so to be called Shark Lady is perhaps the biggest honor that a child can bestow upon me. And so I love being in these schools and seeing them go from, ew, I don't want to get into the water, it's gross, to like just straight up in there, looking at fish, looking under the microscope and getting excited. And I think one of the big things to me that struck me is when we first started this organization, I would do this activity when I was introducing our organization and why it exists, where I would Google shark scientists. And with the exception of Eugenie Clark, every person that came up was a white man on Google Images. And now when I do it, it is filled with Black and brown people doing shark science. And that is the greatest thing for us.
Yeah, thank you.
In this room, I feel really grateful to be in this room with all of the wisdom that is already here. So I just have to presence that. Thank you for everything that everyone's doing. For me, I'm with Sunshine Community Compost, and really simply what we're trying to do is educate and activate people around composting and have compost be part of our culture, really a culture of transformation, a culture of remembering that everything can be a resource instead of a waste. And really what I think we've been doing well is bringing that into the home, into the schools, into the community, and being with folks who, typically wouldn't be talking about this, now they're advocating for it. So I guess, really for us, it's just about making the education and the inspiration around partnering with soil life, with nature, become something that we're doing every day, all of us. So that's pretty simply what we do.
Hi, I'm with Suncoast Waterkeeper. Suncoast Waterkeeper is a small but mighty nonprofit organization working to enhance and restore the waters on the Suncoast for all. And we do that in a wide variety of ways, but really, Justin Bloom should be here. If you don't know who Justin Bloom is, it's under his leadership that we have made the successes that I'm about to share with you. So since 2018, we have successfully, and I'm going to say we, but I just got to ride on his coattails, so I just want to make that clear. So since 2018, Suncoast Waterkeeper has successfully sued 8 municipalities and industries for exceeding their pollution permit. Everybody gets... Everybody gets a permit to pollute, believe it or not, and when you extend beyond that permit, that means that you're doing damage and harm. And so we've successfully then curbed 8 trillion gallons of sewage and partially treated sewage from entering our surface waters through 5 lawsuits. So we are really happy about curbing that 8 trillion gallons of water from entering our surface waters, which cause great harm. But not only that, because of these lawsuits, we have raised over $600,000 for environmental benefit projects to restore the harm that has been done by these spills. And then finally, because of these lawsuits, we've also created the need to spend and also the investment of like $100 million in environmental infrastructure enhancement. So that's wastewater enhancement projects across the Suncoast. So we're really proud about all this work, but there's still so much to do because the threats are now not point source, but they're non-point source, which means you can't point to it. They're coming from all different directions. And that's why we started our Eyes on the Suncoast program. We need you to help us. We need you to look out for our Suncoast waters and report pollution. So in the back, there is a What We Do brochure, but there's also what you can do and how you can report it. So you scan that QR code and you tell us about pollution that you see, because what we'd like to do is follow up on it. Because unfortunately, agencies that are supposed to enforce environmental laws have less resources today than they've ever had in the past. And that means that puts people like us, Suncoast Waterkeeper, in a position to work with them to do their jobs. And so that means telling them about pollution and then following up to make sure that they do what needs to be done in order to stop the pollution event from happening and then also clean it up. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. So my next question is, and I had asked Peter what his vision was, and he and his wife have a vision, and why he even created all of this to begin with. What he did was that they would ensure a flourishing future for his grandchildren and their children that they would be proud of. Okay? Mine is that all people are empowered in their greatness, honored for who they are, and inside a world that works for everyone, with no one and nothing left out. And I've stood inside of that commitment for almost my whole adult life, and I will never let it go. So what is your vision? And who do you say? Yeah.
I love that you use the word flourish, because that's a word that's in Conservation Foundation's vision. Our vision is to see a future where the human and natural worlds flourish together. That's our vision.
It's simple, right?
I would say
not simple, but you know. Go ahead, Peter.
Speaking for SURF, our vision will be that all communities present and as they get developed will be surrounded by and incorporated, interwoven with these natural systems that will preserve the ecological vitality of the region and bring nature close to every young person.
Yeah.
Our vision is that everyone, and by everyone I mean everyone, is involved in ocean conservation and has a voice into what happens with our oceans, because it impacts all of us and we should all have a seat at the table.
Great.
I'd say our vision is participating in a culture where everyone remembers that we are nature, and every day we have an opportunity to participate in regeneration.
Our vision is to realize the 1972 goal of the Clean Water Act for fishable, swimmable, drinkable waters for all.
Thank you. And we have petitions here today to sign. If you haven't signed the Clean Water Act, please look for that when we go on break. So now, how have you held yourself accountable for these visions? That's another question. And then we'll go to the audience and have them be thinking of questions that you want to ask them.
Our organizations?
Yeah, your organizations.
Okay. Conservation Foundation posts on our website our goals through our strategic plan, as well as our annual reports and how we are doing against our goals. We also hold ourselves accountable to each and every one in the community, whether they give to us or not. So we have to be true to our mission. Our mission is hard, it's complicated, it's complex, and it's expensive. And so we live and breathe our mission, and we have to be able to be accountable as well as transparent to our community, because over 90% of what we do is funded by individuals.
Great. Thank you. Let's acknowledge everyone in the end, because I want you to know I had pages that I could have said who these great people are, and I made it brief. because I didn't have time. But these are extraordinary human beings that are sitting here with me today, with us. Thank you.
Okay, you have a juxtaposition here of opposites, both toward the same cause. The Conservation Foundation is disciplined, regimented, rooted in history, and so important to our community. SURF is totally improvisational right now. We came together as a bunch of people wanting to plant trees, evolving our science until we got the Miyawaki permaculture that is our signature scientific combination right. And now we are 100% dependent on communities to reach out to us. Right now, Jacaranda West, they've got a president who came to one of our plantings, and she went home. She's running that community. She got the community to pledge $10,000. She walked into the bank across the street, Fifth Third. This is somebody named Sherry Thornton, and said, "We're building a park across the street with a microforest. How much are you going to donate?" And that's gonna happen. Newtown's going to happen. So we're not disciplined, regimented. We're not really accountable. But
Yes, you are. You're planting trees.
We are full of aspiration.
Yes.
We are dreamers.
Yes, good. We like dreamers.
For us, accountability is really the communities that we serve. And at the end of the day, we're always asking them, what do they need? What is it that is important to them, and what do they value? And that is huge because no one asks these communities what they need. And so it's like, yeah, great. I love that you're taking my kid to go learn about the ocean, but can you also feed them? Absolutely. Can you give them transportation? 100%. I have a child that uses a wheelchair. Can you make this accessible? 100%. We will do that. And so that's really our accountability, is the communities that we serve, and making sure that it's accessible, that it feels like a welcoming space, and that they're getting everything that they need to survive. Because at the first level, you have to be comfortable surviving, and then you can start thinking about conservation. And so that's our accountability.
Great.
For us, it's also community. We couldn't exist in the absence of our collaboration with nature or the collaboration with the people that we work with, the communities, the individuals, the schools, the neighborhoods. So it is through feedback and partnership, the funders as well, everyone who helps make this work possible. When I kind of thought about this question ahead of time, I also sort of felt like, yes, we do all the organizational things, strategic planning and federal documentation and all those things that are required, board, responding to the board, but it's also, I feel like also that, and I'll speak for myself, that it's like you go around and you feel that there's an imbalance, and then you find, it's like the accountability already sort of exists within you, and then you find the way to manifest that physically into the world. Like there's an imbalance that needs to be rebalanced, and so that sort of is like where the original accountability came from, and that's how the organization came, and then we became in close relationship with nature and people, and that's how we move forward. So
Great. Thank you, Tracy.
So we are accountable in many different ways. One is we belong to the Global Waterkeeper Alliance, which has 360 organizations around the world all fighting for clean water. So we have quality assurance standards that we have to meet. There's 14 of them. And so we are accountable through our membership into the Waterkeeper Alliance, but we're also accountable to our stakeholders and our community partners. We don't do this work alone. In every of those lawsuits that I mentioned, we had a host of community partners that were co-litigants in that, and so we are super happy for being accountable to our partners and for our partnerships that we have. But there's a lot of room to grow in our partnerships, and I love what Arlene said earlier. I look forward to being held accountable to a coalition of partners working on a common goal in the Suncoast.
Well, Abby, you can just start right there. What partnerships have been effective in your organization, and what would you like to see happen? Because you've got a huge resource out here today to make that happen.
Yeah, so partnerships from as Waterkeeper Alliance, and we also are part of Waterkeepers Florida, which is 15 waterkeeper groups throughout the state. We meet weekly, and we work together on creating state legislative priorities and also tracking rulemaking procedures related to clean water, and also tracking legislation related to clean water. So those partnerships are super invaluable. But then also at the local level, we have partnerships with Science and Environmental Council and many of the people in this room that are also really helpful. I've been able to partner with Jasmine, which was amazing, on a program called Environmental Ambassadors. It's a Booker High School club. I've been able to partner with Rhonda Ryan in Sarasota Baywatch on a cleanup after the hurricane last year. So we have invaluable number of partnerships. I think actually the only thing that's missing is capacity to build out more, because there's so much we can do when we work together.
Great. Thank you, Abby.
Partnerships?
Yeah, partnerships.
Partnerships, okay.
What do you want to see? I mean, that's the question. What partnerships
I mean,
have been effective in your organization?
Okay, yes. I mean, first and foremost, it's the partnership with nature, because that's where, that's how compost happens. And so recognizing that, but, and then at another level, we wouldn't be able to do the work we do without partnerships and places where we can collect food scraps, where we can process food scraps. So that has to do with land. We would like to have more partnerships with land because we're a decentralized organization. So the city of Sarasota has made it possible for us to do some of our community composting collection and processing right in the city parks. And that then gives us access to partnerships for people walking by in the neighborhood, which leads to neighborhood relationships, which leads to more community composting. So it's one partnership just connects you to the entire web. There are plenty of people in this room that I've partnered with, and I would love to see those pathways strengthened, because we're all in the web here, just working different angles of it. And then partnerships with funders and collaborations. And on a national level, there is a community composter forum where I can pose questions and concerns and challenges in this region, and then I can get feedback from people all over the nation. Some of the people that come to Sarasota say, I was community composting in New York, and that's how I found you in Florida. And so I know that web is working for us. So, and we want to see partnerships at the residential composting level, the community composting level, and the larger scale, because we need all of it. And all, what happens to soil happens to water, happens to people, happens to the economy. There's really no separation. So, yes.
Thanks.
So we partner with a lot of different organizations locally. So we also partner with schools. So Palmview K through 8, as Abby mentioned, Booker through the Environmental Ambassadors Program, Girls Inc. Sarasota, Boys and Girls Club of Sarasota and DeSoto counties, Take Stock in Children, a lot of organizations that are doing really good work in communities that we partner with to bring the ocean conservation and shark side of things, to give sort of this exciting new opportunity for kids to participate in. We also have partners that we don't really know about. So like just you protected Robinson Preserve, that's where we take our kids. So because you protected that area, 150 kids had access to the ocean in a way that they had never had before. So you're our partner. We didn't even know. So Emerson Point Preserve, Manatee County Parks, that's a huge benefit to us. We're able to bring the kids out. And we partner with universities, Eckerd, State College of Florida, University of South Florida, and then other minority-serving marine science-based organizations as well. So we are definitely thriving off of partnerships, for sure.
Suncoast Urban Reforesters, as I said at the beginning, is a partnership of Florida Veterans for Common Sense, Sarasota Bay Rotary, and Solutions to Avoid Red Tide. Meanwhile, every forest that we do has partners that are particular to that project. Our first success at the celery fields was greatly benefited by Molly Holland's organization, Neighborhood Environmental Stewards. When we went to Stony Brook, we had the Suncoast Science Center, or Fab Lab, help a lot, do a lot of the design, as well as the Stony Brook Natural Assets Association. And then the Mangrove School was a partner in theirs, the Heritage Harbor Master Association. The Master Gardeners of Manatee County, who were understandably quite skeptical about Miyawaki microforestry, because it kind of rejects a lot of what their training was. They jumped in and gave fabulous support. Hey, there's Cheryl Grant right now. So that organization's been helpful. So every microforest, including the two that we're working on now in Newtown Multicultural Health Center, and then I talked about Sherry Thornton and the West Jacaranda West community, every forest has its partners, as well as this reliable platform of our three founding partners, to whom I'm infinitely grateful.
We can acknowledge everyone at the end. Go ahead.
So as you can hear, not-for-profits can't do the work that we do without partnerships and collaborations. Conservation Foundation partners with 47 organizations currently. That's not all the ones that we've had partnerships with, that's just current right now. Some of them are very formal, where I or another employee sit on a board. We have an employee that sits on your board, and I sit on the Science Environment Council board. But we also have memorandum of understanding partnerships, where we have formal partnerships. Right now, it's 16 different youth-serving organizations that we partner with, that we get kids outside into nature, land that we've protected, or public open space to get kids outside. So I think we're going to have 17 by the end of the day, because it's all about the next generation. Yes. When we provided this program to our board for approval about 7 years ago, they said, this is mission creep. Getting kids outside isn't what we do. I said, all right, well, why do we do what we do? Why do we save land? Well, we save land for the next generation.
Thank goodness.
And that's exactly what the board did. They started laughing, and the end of the discussion. So we have formal memorandum of understanding between 17 different youth-serving organizations for underserved kids to get them outside. We have formal organizational partnerships with contracts. We're in, let's see, our third conversation coming up this week. Halloween. To talk about how we can partner. We also partner with federal, state, and local municipalities. Again, because land conservation is expensive, we need those dollars, but also because we own conservation easements on government land, like Bobby Jones, like the 150 acres at Robinson Preserve, but we also have those government agencies own a conservation easement on some of the land that we've conserved. So we are tied together with some of these organizations, these government agencies, forever, because the land that we conserve is forever. So none of us could get the work done that we do without partnerships, not only with other not-for-profits, not only with grant funding organizations, or organizations like Science Environment Council that brings us all together as a consortium, but also with government.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have a burning, let's acknowledge them, really. Does anyone have a burning question? A burning comment? Okay. Right here, right here. Okay, I got that. Thank you, Mary Lou.
My name is Nick Barbie, and I'm the founder of the Science and Technology Society here. And we've just been around a year. We're just getting started. We just got our 501c3 designation. But I was thinking that, like, let's say Peter's microforest, a good talk series might be, Microforce, what does our organization do? What are we doing? And then we might partner in that and say, why does it work? And have the scientific aspect of that. And maybe with the composting, we could do something similar. We've been doing we have a series now with USF that we're doing in the afternoons where we're trying to get the students to attend. And this might be something that fits into that. So we could, if you're interested, we can talk more about this.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, right here.
Is this working?
Yeah, just talking.
Okay. I'm with EcoSwift, but under them I represent 3PR, People Protecting Peace River, and specifically we fight mosaic phosphate mining. And Mosaic donates quite a bit of money to a vast amount of organizations and likes to partner with them. And my question is, what do your organizations do to protect yourself against being used by an organization like that to promote themselves as a nature organization? Thank you.
I'd be happy to take that. So the money that we used to purchase the 150-acre Robinson Preserve came from Mosaic. And the reason it did is because we needed to do it like this. Because the landowner, the Robinson family, wanted to sell by 12/31 for tax reasons. So we partnered with them. They donated $3.2 million, and I said, send me your grant letter that you're going to ask us to do certain things. Like any other, what's your award letter going to hold to us? They sent it over. We have a policy against, we will not participate in what's called cause-related marketing, meaning our policy says no corporation can use our logo, our name, or our mission to sell their product. So I was interested to see what they were going to hold us accountable to or tie us to. And we compared that to Publix Charities grant letter as well as Selby Foundation's grant letter. And it was less restricted than both Publix and Selby Foundation. So I brought that to the board and they said their money spends just like anybody else's. They're not going to hold us to any cause-related marketing. And we ended up accepting their $3.2 million to acquire Robinson Preserve expansion. So why do we do that? Because we have our own standard. It says we're not going to be anyone's puppet. We're not going to ever be held accountable to not talk about them. So just like any other grant funding organization, they want to give us money to do our mission. We will do it, but not with any strings attached.
That's great. That's great. Go ahead, Abby.
You mentioned that we have a gift-giving policy that disables us from taking money from Mosaic.
Okay. It's great. It is. And, this is one of the great things about Humanity Day is it includes everyone with no one left out. It's not political. It's not about how we are in regards to our wealth. It's not about our race. It's not about our prejudices. It's about that we all are a part of humanity. So with this group, I could have, all of them, most of them have PhDs. I wanted to say that, and if they don't, they should. And because of the work that they've done, for sure. And I could have, like I said, I could have said a lot about them. And I really invite you at lunch to talk to them and find out how you can support them and they can support you. All right? There's so many great organizations in here. Keep the Country Country, Florida Native Plants, the ones that everyone has met. I could go on and on and on of the difference that the people have made in this room. And so I want to end with that we're going to have we're going to do a video right now. Let's thank everybody for being here today. Okay, do you need to say something? No, well, I'm going to do it after the video. That's fine. So let's do the video. We're done. Shana, did you want to say something really quickly? No, I'm talking after the video. Okay. I have. No, I'm not. Wait, we're not ready for lunch yet. Sit down. We have
We just got everyone to stand up and stretch.
Oh, I gotcha.
I know you have. I know you have.
I gotcha. You have been sitting a long time. Thank you. Let's acknowledge everybody here.
All right. What a wonderful program. That was fantastic. I'm really inspired. Woo! All right. What we have coming up is we're going to have a video, a 13 grandmothers video, and then Fairy Lane is going to sing, but I wanted to let you know about lunch. Please, on your way to lunch, sign in. If you didn't sign in, because we had to start at 11 because we had the Peter Fikowski thing. So please sign in at the welcome table if you haven't. There are going to be 2 lines. There's a salad bar with fresh croissants. Can you smell them already? And I want to thank our cooks, Heather and Ethan Massa, and I want to thank all the volunteers that helped out there. And I want to thank our tech team. It was a lot to bring that Zoom thing. That was a big production. So, and thank you all so much for being here. Over lunch, cooperate, collaborate, and Jane, did you want to introduce the videos?
Yeah, I do. I just want us to look at, this is a really beautiful video. It's 3 minutes long. It's like, who are we going to be for the next 7 generations? These are 13 indigenous grandmothers.
Have been brought together by a common vision to form a new global alliance. We are the International Council of 13 Indigenous Grandmothers. Ours is an alliance of prayer, education, and healing for our Mother Earth, all her inhabitants, all the children, and for the next 7 generations to come.